Alright, continuing off in what is probably the longest video of the series, and we have a new map for this one. So, following Alucard's path, which started from his cave and went to another cave, here is yet another cave. Starting off with the stopwatch, which will be very useful, but also, if you press down and A, Alucard will actually change to a bat. This is the thing I was talking about earlier, the very broken platforming thing that Alucard can do. It is very helpful, so that you don't actually have to play as Alucard. You just turn into a bat, and you just kinda leave. That's the strategy. You just leave. This is the reason I don't really like Alucard, though, because, like, it is broken, sure, it's very useful to fly over things. It's also useful to stop time because mummies will ambush you and there's not really much you can do about it. Also, one thing you need to note is that changing into a bat does take 1 heart, so you can't use it if you're completely empty. Now, Alucard doesn't have many sub-weapons, but the one he does have is the most costly sub-weapon in the game, so if you want to use that stopwatch, you're not going to have much left for bat, and vice versa. Regardless though, like, the main reason I don't like this is because I just don't find it very fun. Also, you can't fly forever with the bat, just FYI. You can transform back manually by just pressing down A again, but you can't fly forever, which is why I did not skip that section. Anyway though, yeah, I just find his platforming very boring. Also, god, I really wish he would fire correctly. Sprite limitations are the worst. But yeah, like, the way I see it is, it's like Kirby, right? Like, in Kirby you get the ability to fly over levels. Here's the thing though, you don't need to fly over levels, and it is in fact more fun to not fly over levels, because you get copy abilities, and you can't use the copy abilities if you're just skipping everything. You can do that if you want, the choice is there, but like, it's actually fun to play the game normally without skipping everything. Alucard, on the other hand, isn't fun to play as. I don't like his single attack, as evidenced by the fact that half the time, even when you have it fully upgraded, sometimes it just doesn't feel like actually firing, and that's annoying. Oh, here comes Frankenstein's monster again. He was really easy with Sypha, he's a lot more difficult with Alucard because it's Alucard. Avoiding things is more difficult and you can't do damage as quickly, and of course, the stopwatch doesn't work, so you just have to have Alucard's basic attack for this. And pretty much you just have to be careful of the blocks randomly falling from the ceiling. They are annoying. But yeah, no, I don't like playing as Alucard, so you can skip stages with him. You can use the bat to skip over a lot of stuff, but like, Grants can also skip things with platforming, but like, it's more fun to platform with Grant because it's like actually more effort. Anyway, what you saw back there was what happens after you finish the stage I finished with Grant, the waterway or whatever it's called. But yeah, it all just collapses, meaning this is actually where that path recombines with sort of the endgame path. So I guess Alucard made his way through the lowermost cave, and then partway through Grant just tumbled in after killing a bone dragon. And now they have to get through this together, except they can't actually be in the same party, so that's just headcanon. But man, I want to see it. I know Grant wasn't actually in the animated series, but he should have been. They should have just had Odd Couple, but with Alucard and Grant. That being said, though, you might have noticed, this is 4 minutes into a 15-minute video. This stage is surprisingly long, for the reason of it's bad and has a very bad section. This isn't terrible, acid is dripping from the ceiling, so So you'd kind of just have to avoid that and wait for it to destroy blocks, etc., etc. Also, did I say 1 heart earlier when describing Alucard's transformation? It's 1 heart per second. Well, maybe. I don't know the exact time, but yeah, it consumes more than 1 heart. I think earlier I just said, oh yeah, it's 1 heart, it's cheap. But yeah, no, it's 1 heart every few seconds. Anyway, though, this is the real reason this stage is bad. Starting from here, we have these blocks dropping from the ceiling. Naturally, if they fall on top of you, it hurts. That wasn't so bad, though, right? I mean, it's a little unexpected, sure, but nothing impossible to deal with. Also, I'm quickly running out of hearts, but that's not going to matter that much where we're going. Anyway, though, yeah. Speaking of the animated series, I figure, hey, this is a long episode, so I should talk about the animated series a bit more. So, like, I feel it actually captures Castlevania pretty well, in case you haven't seen it, because it is a show that at times can be surprisingly poignant. It actually has, you know, very interestingly motivated characters who have different philosophies, and it's pretty interesting to watch and sort of see how they all come together and conflict. Oh, here's a giant bat. You might think this is the end of the stage, but it's not. It would be a mercy if this were the end. Even the giant bats, even for Alucard though, the giant bat's actually not too bad. Granted, I did almost get hit in the corner there, but eh. Okay, so this is the part that sucks. Say hello to the worst form of Tetris you've ever seen. Blocks fall from the ceiling. They are kind of patterned for the most part, so you can sort of predict where they're going to come from and when. The problem is being at the right place at the right time. Obviously, if you get hit in just the wrong way, it's an instant death, so don't fall down or you get to redo all of this over again. It's such a shame that this section is so boring and repetitive and tedious. Because that background is gorgeous. This is my personal favorite background in the game. I really wish this were just a normal platforming section, because playing this fucking sucks. The causeway path is way better than this path, just because you don't have to have this section. Like, if you go Alucard ways, yeah, no matter what, you are finishing the game with this level at some point. It sucks. Even if you do Grant's very good level that I liked, and can't remember the name of off the top of my head, you still have to deal with this. So anyway, though, other than this section, yeah, animated series, you know, it's very poignant, it's very interesting, a lot of introspection from characters, lots of philosophy. But also, it's extremely stupid and violent, which I feel like is a perfectly good representation of the Castlevania series. You know, at times it's actually pretty solid, you know, maybe a little typical at times. Like, I'm of course thinking of the Symphony of the Night intro. Everybody knows that bit. It's very fun to watch, but, you know, actually pretty decent motivation from Dracula, you know? Just about, hey, I don't give a shit about humans. They're gonna flock to me no matter what. Darkness in the hearts of man or whatever, but yeah, no, they're just gonna come to me no matter what. I am but the opiate, etc., etc. But also, people explode into blood all the time, and there's just so much swearing and mumbling. Just, half the characters in the show sound like this. Am I doing a Trevor Belmont impression or an Alucard impression? You don't know. It's Trevor. But yeah, it's very enjoyable. Also important to note is the fact that it also contains content from Castlevania Curse of Darkness, which, if you have not heard of Curse of Darkness, it is the second PS2 beat-em-up game, so after Lament of Innocence we got Curse of Darkness, and Curse of Darkness is actually a sequel to Castlevania 3 of sorts. Gameplay-wise it's completely different, but, you know, it's got Trevor Belmont, it's that same time period. They took a lot of liberties with the content from Curse of Darkness, and that's just a good thing. Hector and Isaac in that show are probably the most compelling characters, just out of everybody, especially in terms of, like, the Curse of Darkness stuff, I would say, what little there is. They're basically OCs at that point, like, they are so different from Curse of Darkness, but that's a good thing, I would say. So of course, that is stuff that I won't talk about now because this is Castlevania 3. Hector and Isaac are nowhere to be found because they did not exist until somebody said, hey, we're gonna make a video game. Hey, we're basing this off Castlevania 3. No, you're not playing as Trevor for this one. This one's different. You play as Hector this time. He's a very sad twink. But yeah, overall, I would mostly suggest, the Netflix Castlevania series, other than the fact that, you know, Netflix as a service keeps shooting itself in the foot, so not really the best service to really, give money to. And also, you know, Warren Ellis being a sex pest. Shout out to my friends who I watch the Castlevania series with, for not actually telling me about that until, like, the last episode, just the last few minutes of the last episode. And I don't mean that sarcastically, I'm very glad they didn't mention that, cause I would have just been annoyed for the whole series. That would have just been on my mind. I'm glad I could, you know, enjoy it for what it was, before being annoyed by the creator. In much the same way that I feel about, Buffy or Angel or Firefly. You know, I got to watch them, you know, I got to appreciate them, or dislike them. There were a lot of bad seasons of Buffy and Angel. But yeah, no, now I can't really watch them, or I'll just go, God fucking damn it, Whedon. Fuck off. I feel like I could mostly ignore that for Castlevania, right? I mean, I haven't tried, but there's a lot of different people on that staff that I can appreciate, other than the guy whose name is on the project mostly. The front and center one. Alright, here we have 3 more coffins and this ghost. Look familiar? That's because it's another boss rush. So I gotta fight this guy again. What's he gonna turn into? The mummies! The mummies are awful to fight with Alucard because, as always, Alucard's main attack sucks. I do not like his main attack. It is not fun. You know, I mean, look, okay. The concept of playing as the son of Dracula and being able to use, like, Dracula's basic attack, that's cute. But the novelty wears off because it sucks to actually fight with. I had to hide in the corner because some corpses were shooting bandages at me. Alucard, you really need to step up your game. Do you think you're ever going to be a main character if your game's like this? You got to step up your game. Don't let the game be bad. Alright, so who's next? It's everybody's favorite boss, it's the Cyclops! The Cyclops still fucking sucks to fight as Alucard. I hate doing this. I've already covered this. Alucard's already had to fight the stupid Cyclops that I hate. But here we are again, doing this. As always, stopwatch does not work. Just keep shooting him and hope he doesn't charge, because Alucard's slow as hell. And I mean, look, I've got 17 seconds of bat, but like, what's that going to help? It's not. By the time I transform, he'll have hit me. If he charges and I'm not close enough to the platform, I'm just kinda fucked. Barely made that one. You know, it just occurred to me that I made it through this entire video where I actually do Alucard's good platforming, where he can just avoid his problem of not being fun or good by just being a bat. And never once did I just shout, BAT! At any point, so, I don't know. I feel like I reined myself in fairly well. Anyway, here's fucking Pazuzu or whatever. He's actually really easy, even for Alucard. He flies up, he jumps, he tries to fall on you, sometimes he shoots a projectile. That's the most dangerous thing he can do. Otherwise, he's gigantic, so he's easy to hit, and he's very slow. You saved your worst for last, Boss Rush. You saved the worst for last. Anyway, that's it for Alucard, so next time we continue on as our main two hunters for the rest of the castle.